Lok Sabha Speaker elections are slated tomorrow at 11 a.m. That will only be the third time in India's history that we have had elections for the post of Speaker, something which has generally always been decided by consensus. The Speaker for the 17th Lok Sabha, Om Birla, has filed his nomination on behalf of the NDA for the Lok Sabha Speaker's post. His rival will be 8-time Congress MP K Suresh, who has filed his nomination on behalf of the NDA Bloc. The India Bloc had demanded that they be allowed to choose the Deputy Speaker, and since the demand has not been met, they will field a candidate and force an election for the Speaker's post. This came after Defence Minister Rajnath Singh had dialed leaders of the opposition bloc and had urged for the Speaker to be decided by consensus. Currently, Bharatiya Janata is the pro-tem Speaker of the House until elections are conducted tomorrow. Meanwhile, we've just got an update coming in at this point that there's likely to be elections for the Deputy Speaker's post as well. So the acrimony continues, and the opposition is likely to contest for the post of Deputy Speaker. They had pitched for a consensus over the Deputy Speaker's position being given to the India Bloc, following which they would have supported the NDA government's pick for the Speaker's position. But now it seems, since an election is happening for the Speaker's post, there is likely to be an election for the Deputy Speaker's post as well. So unprecedented acrimony we are seeing on the floor of the House. So let's put that across to my panel of guests. Joining me at this point, we have Jasmine, Sandhawalia, spokesperson of the BJP, Gautam Seth, spokesperson of the Congress, and Vivek Silas, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Jasmine ji, I'll come to you first. Why make it so bitter? Why not follow tradition? Why not follow convention and give the Deputy Speaker's post to the India Bloc? That's been happening for years now. Why create this unnecessary acrimony on behalf of the BJP?
You see, what has happened is that the acrimony has not been started by the BJP or the NDA. The whole issue here is that our very seasoned BJP statesman like Rajnath Singh ji has reached out to the opposition. It is the Congress which is making a mole out of the whole thing. The situation here is that the Speaker's post is always on a consensus ground, and the Speaker is for everybody. He does not represent the BJP, or he's not going to be representing any particular party. He is the man of the House. So to create such a shindy and put up the shenanigans, I was just hearing Mr. Rahul Gandhi say that Mr. Modi is trying to create acrimony and he is not following the dharma of politics. What I want to remind him is that our Prime Minister has gone ahead yesterday and made a statement that the opposition should play a constructive role, and the NDA wants to take everybody along. So this is a very misleading statement by Mr. Rahul Gandhi to accuse the Prime Minister or to accuse the NDA. We are on the same page.
Ma'am, with all due respect, you're skirting the opposition. Ma'am, with all due respect, you're skirting my question. With all due respect, you're skirting my question. Yes, convention and parliamentary tradition, parliamentary dharma indicates that the Speaker's position is always elected by consensus, and the Speaker's position is generally a nominee of the ruling government. That is parliamentary dharma. But parliamentary dharma and parampara has also said that the Deputy Speaker's position is generally goes to the opposition candidate here. And that is precisely what Mr. Rahul Gandhi, and we played that signboard also for our viewers today, that's precisely what the India Bloc was asking, that you give us the Deputy Speaker's post, we will back your Speaker's post. That is what has been happening till 2014.
So why is he creating such a shindy? We have not said no, that we are not going to be accommodating the opposition with the Deputy Speaker's post. The Speaker has to be elected, and let him be elected, and we are going to be playing an inclusive politics in our third term. We want to take everybody along, and this is not a good start by the opposition, and I rest my case on that.
Okay, let me put that question then to Gautam Seth and to Vivek Silas. Gautam Seth, the BJP stand is very clear. They said we have not said no to the Deputy Speaker. Let the Speaker be decided by consensus, and then we'll talk about the Deputy Speaker. What's wrong in that?
I mean, if they have not said no to the Deputy Speaker, they haven't even said yes to the Deputy Speaker. And if they wanted to create any such consensus, as directly stated by Shri Rahul Gandhi in his today's statement, when Rajnath Singh ji spoke to Kharge ji and said and requested for support and consensus on the Speaker's position, Kharge ji, of course, requested that we are ready for consensus, but you should also commit us and ensure us a consensus on the deputy speaker's position. Has this not been a parliamentary tradition? I would like to ask the BJP spokesperson. Did not 2004 to 2009 Charanjit Singh Atwal, 2009 to 14 Kariya Munda, one was from the Akali Dal, one was from the BJP. Both NDA parties back then, they were deputy speakers during UPA government's, Dr. Manmohan Singh's government era. So when we could follow the parliamentary tradition in the way that it should be followed, why is the BJP running away? What is this bossy attitude or the crumbling of the ethos of the constitutional values or the ethos of the parliamentary procedures that they have been hell-bent on doing? They have been doing this earlier and they are continuing to do this now. And they want us to stay quiet. I'm sorry, this time the mandate is for a strong opposition, not for a strong government. And this strong opposition is going to hold you accountable.
Firstly, the mandate, I mean, there's nothing like a mandate for a strong opposition. The mandate is for the party which is in power in the government here. If there was a mandate for a strong opposition, I mean, for the opposition to be strong, it would have been a mandate for the opposition to be in power itself. But Vivek Silas, ultimately what has been achieved? If you had waited, if the opposition had waited for the election of a speaker to be on consensus, then the opposition would have had the moral high ground to say that, okay, now we have supported you, we have given in to what Rajnath Singh had appealed to, now it's time for you to return the favor and give us the deputy speaker's position. Instead, now what is happening? There will be an election for the speaker's position, which the India Bloc will lose. And then there will, in all likelihood, be an election for the deputy speaker's position also, which again the India Bloc will lose. So, koi fayda hua ye karke?
You know, as far as the Bharatiya Janata Party is concerned, they have never followed the, parliamentary procedures. The time when Mallikarjun Kharge had a word with Mr. Rajnath Singh, at the same time he would have said, okay, we are giving you the speaker's post, give us the deputy speaker's post. And it has been a tradition of, the coalition governments in the past as well, that the deputy speaker's post has always been with the opposition. To maintain a balance in the parliament, and of course that it should have been followed, because if you see in the last 10 years there has not been any deputy speaker. It was a dictatorship of Narendra Modi's government, and what we saw what Mr. Om Birla has been doing is suspending 150 more than 150.
But there is no constitution. Vivek Silasji, there is no constitutional mandate for the position of a deputy speaker. There is a constitutional mandate for having a speaker. And then there is a principle or parampara of having it done by consensus. For an opposition bloc, which is repeatedly emphasizing so much on the constitution being followed, ironically on this aspect, it is the BJP which is following the constitution.
You know, if Bharatiya Janata Party, the government of the Bharatiya Janata Party, it's not the government of the Bharatiya Janata Party, it's the government of the NDA. The people of India have not given a clear-cut mandate to Prime Minister Modi. And you cannot deny from that. But whatever it is, nothing is going to be a cakewalk for the Bharatiya Janata Party as far as what Bharatiya Janata Party is doing. Like what we saw the paper leak, or we saw the train accident, and we see what's happening in Manipur. It's very evident and right in front of our eyes. So the opposition is definitely, the strong opposition is going to ask questions to the Bharatiya Janata Party. Let's see, there's many a slip between the cup and the lip. Let's see what happens tomorrow after 11 a.m. Let's see who the speaker is.
But a strong opposition would have worked. But a strong opposition would have worked better if by consensus and bargaining you would have got the deputy speaker's position. If there are elections, as I repeat, if there are elections for both positions, the numbers will ensure that you don't get either of them. Let me go back to Gautam Seth before I put the question across to Jasmine as well. Gautam Seth, the important counterpoint being made by the BJP spokesperson is that in governments in West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Kerala, Telangana, Jharkhand, Punjab, Delhi and Himachal Pradesh, where members of the India Bloc are parties of the India Bloc in power, none of these states have a deputy speaker given to the opposition party. Why does the India Bloc then assume it's its birthright to get the deputy speaker's position, something which is not constitutionally mandated?
See, it's not about anybody's birthright. In politics, there is nothing that is birthright of anyone. But what we are talking here is about a tradition that the Lok Sabha has always followed. 10 years, you had a mandate from the people that was that enabled you to behave like a dictator, that enabled you to bulldoze every kind of tradition that existed in the past. But this time, the people told you that, see, our India's democratic structure, the parliamentary procedures, the constitution is supreme. And the mandate didn't give you a clear majority at all. So when you say it was for the government, I'm sorry, it was not for Narendra Modi,
Okay.
it was for NDA. I haven't heard TDP's statement coming in yet in support of Om Birla. So let us see what happens tomorrow. Let us see how things unfold. But I'm also assuming that the BJP, some sense might still prevail. They might still reach out to the India bloc and try to still create a consensus by offering the deputy speaker's position. That is what Khadge ji spoke to Rajnath ji about. You should ask Rajnath ji that why didn't he call back and give an assurance that yes, we are going to give the deputy speaker's position, but we are going to maintain
no,
the
it's very interesting. Very,
as well.
Gautam said very interesting here, as you mentioned at this point. Gautam said you just insinuate, or at least you put a question as to whether the NDA allies like TDP and JDU are on board with the speaker's candidate selection of the BJP. In fact, ironically, what we are getting as a news flash is that there might be a division within the India bloc also, because sources have told the Times Network that the Trinamool Congress is against the opposition fighting for the speaker's post, because the Trinamool Congress has pointed out something which is evident here, that there is no numbers for the India bloc, so there's no point fighting election just for the sake of creating a stand. That's the breaking news that's just come in at this point. However, leaving that as it may, Jasmine Sandhawalia, you have pointed out that Rajnath Singh ji made an appeal. The BJP never said no to giving the deputy speaker's position to the India bloc. They should have just waited for us to first elect the speaker and then trusted on us to give the deputy speaker's point. The point is that the current BJP government, Jasmine ji, has a track record of subventing procedure in order to achieve political goals. Tradition and parliamentary parampara also said that the role of a pro tem speaker should have been given to the longest serving and the most senior MP in the house. It is a ceremonial role. It is just for 2 to 3 days. Even there, the BJP circumvented procedure and denied Mr. K Suresh the opportunity to be pro tem speaker and gave it to another leader here. So what is the guarantee that the BJP will now, after it has gotten its speaker of its choice, will then uphold parliamentary parampara and give the deputy speaker's post to the India bloc?
Well, I would like to say that Mr. Mehtab is a 7-time MP, and he was with the BJD before, and then in 2024 he came to the BJP, and he has won for the 7th time. And before that, he was given the Best Parliamentarian Award, and he has a track record of being a very, very seasoned politician. So there was nothing wrong that for 3 or 4 days of ceremonial position was given to him. And like you said, that you have in fact asked you've posted the counter question the Congress spokesperson about that they could have taken a moral high ground if the BJP had gone back on its word. Now the issue here is that it is in cantankerous attitude towards stalling the governance of a country, and it's a bitterness that not coming into power, which is pouring out of the opposition. And I think if the Mamata Banerjee has taken this point, it's a very, very high moral ground attitude towards good governance, that they should be, since they do not have the numbers, they are understanding that they do not have the numbers, but they still want to go ahead and put up a fight. It is very unfortunate. Nobody is asking them that, knowing that they don't have the numbers, knowing that Mr. Rajnath Singh has reached out to the opposition to infer. It's like if somebody calls me and says that you're invited to the party, and I say, tell me what the menu is going to be, then I will decide whether I will come for the party. Now, Mr. Rajnath Singh reached out to Mr.
Jasmine ji, to also
reached out to the opposition.
Jasmine ji, to continue that analogy, it's also, I mean, no, but I mean, one can also argue, to continue the analogy, it's like being invited to a party where I know the cuisine is something I will not like, and then we expected to trust your word for it. I mean, that's what the opposition would say. Speaking of the opposition, we've got more news coming in. I'd like to get in Gautam Seth on that as well, because the Congress, according to our sources, has intensified its fight for the speaker's post. And we understand that Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge has called for a meeting of the India bloc MPs And this will be a meeting on the Speaker's post at 8 p.m. today. However, when seen in conjunction with the previous news flash about the Trinamool Congress not being very keen on going ahead and fighting the Speaker's post election, it remains to be seen as to whether the India Bloc unity survives at this point. Gautam said the only positive takeaway I can see from this unfortunate mess over something which is largely procedural and conventional in Parliament is that you make a point to the entire country that the India Bloc is united and the India Bloc is going to take a stand against anything which the government does. But if the Trinamool Congress is not on board, a key ally of the India, a key member of the India Bloc, does this not backfire on you, sir?
The Trinamool Congress will absolutely be on board. I assure you that the chairperson of the alliance, Mr. Khadge, is reaching out to everyone. They are creating a consensus amongst themselves. And that consensus will be visible tomorrow in Lok Sabha. What I'm actually worried about is whether NDA remains intact or not, or whether the numbers of India Bloc go up and go up by how much in tomorrow's, or who abstains from voting. So all this needs to be seen tomorrow. How does it all unfold? But what I haven't seen the TDP as well pledging a support for Mr. Om Birla. So TMC has not given any official statement as of now. You should wait for this meeting to happen at 8 p.m., followed by which you can expect a press briefing in which you will see the numbers are intact. India Bloc will stand intact for the cause of the people and for the cause of the constitution.
Okay. My final question to you, Vivek Silas. What worries me as a viewer, and I'm sure a lot of our fellow countrymen will also have the same question, is that on an issue which is largely supposed to be ceremonial and procedural, there is such bitterness already between the government and the opposition ranks. I think it was unprecedented scenes which we saw yesterday, that the Prime Minister is taking oath or ministers are taking oath and the opposition has already begun its protest there or not. I'm not getting into the merits as to whether this protest is justified or not, but the fact still remains that I don't remember any house, any session of Parliament or any Lok Sabha ever starting already with the battle lines drawn so much. If the government and the opposition cannot come to terms on something as basic as a speaker and a deputy speaker here, can we really expect any sort of a productive, conducive business being conducted in the House, whether it be a debate on a key issue like NEET or a debate on the passage of an important bill, sending it to the standing committee? All of that is not going to happen if the government and opposition have already decided from day one that we are going to oppose each other no matter what you do.
One thing is absolutely clear, like we have seen in the previous government, how bills were passed. Nothing was done and all bills were passed without any constitutional following on that. That cannot be done now, for sure. And if things like you talked about NEET, how the papers were leaked, who all were involved, how 20 lakhs, 24 lakh students were on the street, we have seen the opposition has to raise their voice. What else we are there for in the Parliament? We have to raise the voice of the people of India. And we have to see what the Bharatiya Janata Party is actually doing and what are their intentions. This is the role of any opposition, not only us. Had the NDA been in the opposition, they would have done the same thing. They would have raised the question on how at the end of the day the train accidents are happening, what is happening in Manipur. These are the burning issues right now in India. And the Bharatiya Janata Party or the NDA government has to reply on that. That is what our role is, and we are playing our role. We cannot let go of things like that. Oh no, it's not a cakewalk for the Bharatiya Janata Party like they did the last time. Not at all. The people of this esteemed country has given the power to the opposition to ask strong questions to the ruling NDA government. And we will ask that because the people of India has very rightly given mandate to no political party in India. Though BJP is the largest party in India, but they also don't have the numbers. And that is what has been decided by the people of India. So, as far as the responsible opposition like Samajwadi Party or the Congress or the India Bloc is concerned, any injustice done or any such bills that are not good for the country, if we feel so, we will ask the questions to the Bharatiya Janata Party and we'll make sure that the Bharatiya Janata Party does not dictate terms to the country. Not at all. This will not be tolerated and it will not be done.
Well, a healthy democracy is in everyone's interest. That's, I'm sure all my guests will agree with me. So thank you so much, Jasmine Sandhawalia, Gautam Seth, and also Vivek Silas for joining me on this panel. It remains to be seen. Democracy is not something which is done just 5 years. It's about also building in the spirit of consensus at this point.